This is Peter Voogd, founder of RealVIPSuccess.com and creator of the Gamechangers system for excellence, which is the premier community for young professionals and ambitious entrepreneurs. And thanks again for watching. Well, we definitely have a treat for you guys today. Mr. Grant Cardone, who a lot of you have heard of, studied, got success tips from, and let me talk a little bit about him. He's an American entrepreneur, New York Times best-selling author, speaker, and motivator. Very well-respected sales expert whose passion is to teach really you how to sell yourself, your products, your services, no matter what the economy does. And as you can tell, he's very energized and pumped up today. He's authored 4 books. If you're not first, you're last. There was also an award-winning book, Sell or Be Sold. One of my favorites is the 10X Rule. He also enjoys Oreos. He eats them daily, morning and night.
Mega stuff too, dude.
And he serves as an expert contributor to Fox News, CNBC, MSNBC, Huffington Post, Entrepreneur, Business Insider, and many others. Also has a show called The Young Hustlers that I know a lot of you guys are watching, but numerous other things. Now, here's my favorite part, really, maybe favorite thing about Grant. His energy, his passion, his authenticity, and he speaks from real experience. He speaks from the heart, and he really doesn't care what people think. He can care. I think this will be a pretty exciting and controversial interview, but I admire his tenacity. He's so in tune with who he is, he can care less what you think. He's just going to add value today. So Grant, welcome. I'm excited, man.
Peter, thanks a lot, man. I'm interested in seeing what some of your deep recessed questions are for me. I eat my Oreos the way I do my life. I double up on the mega stuff, and I take off. See, I double them up right here, bro. So it's like more is better is the theme of my life. More is better, except for those who don't have enough.
So you 10X your Oreos?
No, I 2X my Oreos.
I love it. Got it. So Grant, real quick, for those who have been under a rock, who don't know who you are,
all right.
I think most people do, but where'd you grow up, and can you kind of think of anything that shaped you during your early years of who you are today?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Lake Charles, Louisiana. It's a small town, about 40, 50,000 people, and near the bayous, actually toward the east or west border of Louisiana, closer to Houston than New Orleans, if you can, in a refinery town. And I'm not a refinery kind of guy, you know. So my dad died when I was 10 years old, and my dad was a hustler. My dad wanted to be a millionaire, and he ran out of time. He did extremely well for himself, but when he died, he left us with a little insurance money. And basically, when I say my dad did well for himself, what I mean is my dad came from a family that had nothing. They were Italian immigrants, came to the country with zero, only knew about hard work. He was the first person in his family to get an education, and he died prematurely at 52 years old. Yeah. He had 5 kids and a wife. His wife, my mother, did not know how to balance a checkbook. Now, look, no matter how much money you have, if you don't know how to balance a checkbook and don't know how to bring in new money, you're going to be scared every day of your life. This is what is called today the middle class. I was brought up in the middle class. We had enough. We had food. We had clothes. We had a car. We had a way to get to school. We had more than a lot of people. But we didn't have enough not to be freaking scared every second of every day. Now, this is, 40 years ago, I was brought up like this. And my dad missed his dream. He didn't make it. He didn't make it to the status he wanted. My mother, on the other hand, had just enough. We had just enough paper money. We had just enough to pay the bills, but never enough to okay, everything's going to be all right. It was always a threat. Fast forward 40 years. Dude, the entire middle class is getting smaller, okay? There's a 30% chance today that if you were born in the middle class, you won't be in it as an adult. Magnify that to the people in your age group, millennials, crushed. Never. No group of people has been under more financial oppression, suppression, falsehoods, and myths than people 18 to 32 years old. And I have a mission to help those young hustlers. So I don't know if that answers your question, but I came from nothing. Basically, at 25 years old, I'm broke. I didn't think much of myself. I had a drug problem. At 25 years old, I'm like, okay, I got to get my shit together. I got to get my game on. and decided I'm going to get rich. I'm going to have financial freedom in my lifetime. I'm going to be in a situation that if I'm going to worry about money, dude, I want to worry about some big money. You know, Jay-Z says he's got 99 problems. Shit, I got 10 billion problems because I ain't got 10 billion.
I love it, man. So, and I read about that a lot in your book too, that it kind of just, when you were 25, you just made a definite decision just to go all out and become wealthy. Now, can you think of, and we'll talk about the young millennials, and we'll talk about really what they can do to differentiate, to not be stressed out, struggling, scared, in fear. But what was your biggest challenge coming up in the business world when you started? Of course, when you set your goal and you set your mind to becoming wealthy, shit's going to happen, as you know. Can you think of anything that kind of got you down?
The first thing was, Peter, I had to get over this idea that I was young. Okay. I think a lot of people, and we get this on our show all the time, young guys calling in saying, yeah, but I'm younger than my client. You know, I'm like, yeah, so what, dude? You know, I remember thinking this, I'm too young. People don't trust me. I looked probably 10 years younger. When I was 25, I looked like I was like 18. And I mean, you probably wouldn't guess my age. Today, I'm 56 years old tomorrow.
That's crazy.
And so I've always looked a bit younger than my age. So that was more of a problem for me than it was for them. Nobody was asking me how old I was. Look, Alexander the Great was freaking 16 years old and had conquered planet Earth. 16, dude. The guy was a baller. Okay. Jesus Christ was 33 and everybody knows about him. You might not believe in him. You might not support him. Everybody knows the name. And he was crucified at the age of 33. So the point is, look, first of all, get over this age bullshit because it's just, that's all it is. It's in your head, not theirs. Bring value to the game. Bring value to the game. You got to get sick. You got to get so good at your game that you stand out amongst the 80 million millennials. You need to get to where people look at you like, dude, you're like, what's going on with you, man? What are you eating? What are you popping something? Did you just smoke some freaking crazy weed? What kind of kush you on? I mean, people need to be like wondering what the hell is going on with this person that he's so unique, so different. They should be complimenting you every day. And that's the switch that needs to happen for everybody. And it's not going to happen for everybody. Okay. Everybody's not going to be exceptional. They have the ability to be, but they're not going to make the switch to say, hey, I'm going to stand out amongst my group, which means I got to do some things different than the rest of my group's doing.
You know what scares me is all the schools, the colleges. I went to the University of Oregon, and we're actually taught to not speak out, and we're taught to kind of fit in and to not actually be exceptional because that's bad. Why is that happening? I think kids need to really understand that's the worst thing you can do is try to fit in and be like everybody else. So do you have any thoughts on
it's unbelievable. I tell you the things this generation has going. Oh, totally. The things this generation has going against it is not the things that are reported in the papers. That you guys are lazy, you text too much, you like social media, you don't work hard, you don't want to stay at a job. That's all garbage, dude. That's just hype by the media. Mm-hmm. Mainstream conservatives that are confused. Look, here's the problem. Okay, you're the most medicated generation that's ever existed on this planet. You're given pills for everything. I'm not talking about street drugs, dude. I had a $500 cocaine habit. Okay, that cocaine's nothing compared to the stuff the doctors are giving kids today. So one, you're over medicated. Okay, you're over evaluated. People evaluate you guys constantly. You're lazy, you text, you're social media rats, you don't work. You're over-evaluated. You're invalidated like no other generation has ever been invalidated, saying you're not smart. You don't. Look, you guys are the smartest generation that has ever come about, but the media doesn't tell you that. You have the highest education rate of any generation that has ever come out of the United States, yet you earn less money than any other generation. You can't get a job. Why? Okay, you're most influenced by the Dr. Seuss kind of therapeutic, feel good, embrace the child within, have your feelings, all this gooble gobble horoscopic. Dude, you know what you need to do? You need to freaking get to work, baby. You need to bank some paper. You need to do what guys are doing that will do anything to get out of the rut and not listen to all this garbage. I'm pulling for millennials. You're bright. You understand technology. You understand about being nimble. You don't want to get over debted. You know your mommy and daddy's financial plan was a failure. You know the house is not an investment. It's a chain around your neck. It's not a dream, possibly a nightmare. You guys know and have seen things happen to generations before you that just didn't work out. And that makes you better off than many, many others.
So they need to take that experience, and I love your thoughts, Grant. They need to take that experience and all the things that have happened wrong and figure out a formula to make sure they differentiate so they can have a better future. That's huge.
And that means you need to be really confident about who you are. You got to be completely sure about who you are. Now, these are some things that are going against you. You guys get information from more places than any other generation ever in the history of mankind. Too much content coming in confuses people.
Yep. And
it's not good at some point to have it's overwhelm and it's distrust. I start not trusting because if I go to CNBC, for instance, right now and just plug in the word housing from CNBC, I'm going to get 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 different ideas about whether a house is a good deal or not. My life turned around when I started going to fewer sources and committing to those sources. You know the old saying, like a guy called here, a lawyer called here. He charges $650 an hour. He called my offices here in Miami yesterday. And when I picked up the phone, he's like, dude, your people all sound like you. I said, oh, yeah, bro, this is a cult we got going on over here. He's like, really? You got a cult? I said, oh, it's a cult, bro. He said, man, you got him drinking the Kool-Aid. I said, no, we don't drink Kool-Aid here, bro. We swim in it. We reduce the amount of content from the rest of the world. We find 1 or 2 or 3 things that work for us, and that's all we do over and over and over again. People need to take that advice, man. Commit to your career and then reduce down to 1 or 2 people that you're going to get your data from, not the whole world. And like, make sure those 1 or 2 stable pieces work. Because if you listen to your mom, your dad, your cousin, your uncle, your aunt, your grandpa, Mark, CNBC, CNN, if you listen to all this, it's going to become very confusing and you're not going to do anything.
Which is where 99% are at, just to put that out there.
Right.
So... Right now,
Peter, let me just say one other thing in addition to what you just said about the 99%. Okay, like, look, 20% of the people earn 80% of the income in the United States of America. When I heard that statistic, the first time I heard that statistic, I'm like, I want to be part of the 20%. Yeah. So then I started, the only friends I would have, the only people I would go out with, the only people I would drink with, the only people I would hang with were the 20%. I'm like, hey, the 80% might be nice people, might be a buddy. He might have a nice girl. He might have a nice sister that I want to, play with for a night. But dude, I'm going to learn from the 20%. They have some data the other 80 don't have. I want to be around the winners. And hey, let's just call a spade a spade. I want to get rich.
Yeah. Now, you said that word rich, money, wealth. It's for a lot of people that are mediocre or middle class. If younger people talk about getting wealthy and rich, this gives me chills how sad this is.
Yeah.
It's looked down upon. Are you kidding
me? Dude, you can talk about drugs. You could say, hey, my son's a drug addict. Your parents, I just wrote an article about kids and money. And your parents will talk about a drug problem with a child before they talk about money with a child. It's crazy, dude. Kids today are taught, don't do drugs. Yeah, right. Okay. Come in on time, get good grades, don't have sex before. Dude, where's the conversation about get you some money, son? Yep. Because broke is bad. Okay, look, I've done the experiment. Okay, I had an experiment being broke and I did one having money. Okay, I got to tell you, both of them take effort. In fact, being broke takes more effort than having money. And the guy that says money won't make you happy is baloney, dog. I'm telling you, look, money can make you happy. And if you're not capable of being happy, have some money to go with it.
You know what's funny is Zig Ziglar, when I was younger, he said, money's not everything, but it is right up there with oxygen. And I remember that.
It counts, man. It counts when you want to make a change. Yeah, you want to do something big, you're going to need, somebody's going to say, hey, how are you going to make this work? You need some dough to do it.
100%. And I'll tell you, if you could look back, I think there's some valuable insight where these 19, 20, 21-year-olds, they have all this, they have school debt. The average debt is outrageous right now. So they're going into the economy and workplace already at a disadvantage and fear. And the government, I think, has them where their number one priority is to pay them back and to pay them back. What would you say to those people that are like, well, all my money's going to my student loans and to
Dude,
taxes?
I wouldn't pay them back. I would not pay them back right now. That is the wrong thing to do. Financially, that is an incorrect move. If you owe the government $70,000 or $130,000 or $40,000, you should not be paying them back right now. You should be doing one other thing first. Make money. If you're making 50 grand a year, you have to figure out how to go to 100. You don't need to figure out how to pay the U.S. government back right now. The U.S. government is broke. You don't give money to broke people.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, okay? You don't give money to broke people, and you're broke. Why would you pay a government this broke, and you're freaking broke? It doesn't make any sense. Now, Dave Ramsey's not going to tell you this, and Susie Orman ain't going to tell you this, and your mommy and daddy ain't going to tell you this, and the government's not going to tell you this. Do not pay them back right now. Pay them back, but not right now. What you need to be working on right now is you got money coming in. This much money's coming in. The only thing you should be concerned about right now is not your degree, nothing, dude. Just this: get more money coming in. You got to figure out how to get that $50,000 a year job to pay you $80,000. Your next stop should be 50 to 75. How do I get another 25? I'm not talking about going to get another job right now. I'm not talking about waiting tables at night. Okay. I'm not talking about selling drugs on the side. I'm talking about how do you get the job you're making 50. You're a tech guy in a company. You're making 50. You got to figure out some creative way, and I don't know what that is, to figure out how to get from 50 to 75. And I know this. If you want to make more money, get attached to revenue. You're not going to make more money because you do a better job. It's just not going to happen, man. It's just going to be a little drip every once in a while. You're going to make more money only when you bring a company either more customers or more revenue. You got to get attached to revenue to get more dough. Then once you start making enough money, maybe later pay the U.S. government if they even need the money by then. Because who knows? Maybe they'll shelve the whole program.
For 100, and I fully agree with you. And once I started focusing on profit-producing activities, Grant, and I put those first and I had result rituals in place, it was a game changer. Because once you have a lot of income coming in, confidence goes up, you can create partnerships, you could add more value, you have more customers, you can do more things for them. It's endless possibilities once you have the income. Yeah.
Go on the Shark Tank with any product, okay? The Shark Tank always goes the same way. My friend Mark Cuban's on there, you know, Mr. Wonderful's on there. They're always going to come back and ask you one question. What are your sales?
Yep.
Okay, whatever your idea is good. Sooner or later, they're going to say, what'd you sell last year? And most of the time, they're saying what? Well, I hadn't sold anything yet. But that's
but I have a big vision. They don't care about that.
I think things are going to get good.
Here's my funniest one that I hear. It's a $1 billion industry. Yeah, who cares? You're not making any money in it yet, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So now that you're on like the make more money 10X, I want to talk about the 10X philosophy. It's helped me in my life tremendously, and it's helped a lot of people I've taught that have studied it. Talk about the 10X philosophy and why it's not okay in this economy to try to incrementally improve over time and what the 10X can really do for you.
Yeah, the 10X rule basically is a fourth in a line of books that I wrote since the Lehman collapse. I wrote 4 books after Lehman. The first book was called Sell or Be Sold, about the importance of sales to every organization, that everybody should be involved in sales. The owner of the company, the receptionist, the technology, IT guy, the website developer, everybody needs to think in terms of what will this product do to increase sales. Then I wrote a second book called Closer Survival Guide, a third book, which was a New York Times bestseller called If You're Not First, You're Last, which is full of strategies for marketing. And this book's called the 10X Rule. The 10X Rule basically was the missing component in these books about action. Like, look, if you really look over your life, the problems that most people have in their life are really, you know, they're just the same problems over and over and over again. This is an issue. If you look at rich people have new problems, not old problems. Okay. You want to get a different set of problems. The middle class is actually trying to stay away from problems. People that don't do well in life actually try to avoid problems. They're trying to avoid problems. Look, money follows the solution to every problem. There's money. If you can solve problems, look for problems, add problems, get problems. The 10X rule is you need to take your goals that are this big and make them this big. And if you want to make $1 million, I want to show you how to make 10 million. If you want to make 10 million, I want to show you how to make 100 million. If you want to, the 10X rules, hey, we're going to build $1 billion company. Like right now, because of this book, I created a strategy for me to build $1 billion real estate portfolio. I'm about a third of the way there actually right now, just short of a third of the way there. But my action plan is about how to go to a billion. Look, I don't need $1 billion, dude. Nobody needs $1 billion, okay? How to get there to build the strategy so that I end up someplace bigger than where I was thinking, and I don't end up with little small problems that just drag you down and are problematic anyway. Look, a small problem is a small problem. A big problem gets your attention.
That's huge.
I want big money problems, not little money problems.
And you talk about setting a goal of $1 million. You'd rather miss $1 million than hit 100K, correct?
Yeah. I'd rather miss $1 billion than get to 10 million. Okay, because if I miss $1 billion at any number, dude, I'm rich. I'm rich. I'm going to be real rich financially. Okay. So that would go for anything. Okay. If you think you need 100 customers, go for 1,000 customers. Build a plan and a strategy to get 1,000 customers, not 100. If you come up short on either one of those numbers, the 100 or the 1,000, which one are you better off at?
Yeah, definitely the 1,000.
Yeah.
100%.
More is better, except for those who don't have enough. More is always better unless you're a drug addict.
Yeah. So for those people that are taught and ingrained in their head to where people want to set realistic goals, but goals that are somewhat attainable. So the point is to take it off the actual goal and on the effort, 10X your effort, 10X your attitude, 10X your mindset, to where don't focus on, oh no, I didn't hit the goal. Focus on, shit, I made 500 grand versus 100 grand.
Who knows if it's unrealistic? I mean, this is something that's been passed on for generations now. Oh, don't set unrealistic goals.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know what's unrealistic? You can't tell me what I'm capable of. I know what I'm capable of. This has been the great, I thought because my dad died when I was 10, that the reason I had experienced grief through my life, I didn't discover this until I was like 42 years old, that I thought that because I lost my dad at an early age that I was sad, that this was the reason I had grief in my life. That was not the reason I had grief. One day I discovered the reason I experienced grief in my life, a sadness, a prevailing sense of being sad that I no longer struggle with, was that I was not reaching for my full potential. Okay, I think that's what really bugs out most people. Like, your potential's up here and you're only delivering at this level. You know it. I may not know that about you, but you know that about you, and that bugs you out. So you don't like your job. You don't like your boss. You don't like your wife. You don't like your husband. You don't like your partner. You don't like where you're going. Because you know what? Every day you're reminded, dude, I could do this, but I'm not. I'm doing this. That's the problem with things that aren't good for you. Being unethical, that's the problem with that. It's not that it's a moral issue. It's that I don't know what you're doing unethical in your life. Everybody's doing something a little unethical, right? If you're not making that extra phone call, that's unethical. Doesn't have to be something illegal. So if I'm operating here, but I'm taking naps during the day, I know it. Now, if my potential's here and I'm here, dude, you take as many naps as you want. You're not going to feel bad about it.
I love that. And what I see a lot, Grant, I've trained thousands of sales reps, is I see people talk a lot about what they want, and they have these ambitions, but they're not there yet. They don't have the money, but they still go out and party, or they still do things that
pretenders,
are comfortable.
Bro. Pretenders.
So
look, there's pretenders and there's ballers. Okay, and then there's pretender ballers. Okay, I know people that just pretend, dude. They think they're good. They think they're great. I hear this as salespeople all the time. Oh, I'm good. Really? What the hell does that mean, bro?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have any money. You don't know what's going to happen this month. You good? Tell me how many you're going to do this month. How much money you're going to make this month. Tell me how many people you're going to get in front of. You tell me exactly what's going to happen to you this month, and that you have enough left over that you can go buy anything you want, invest how you want, that you got multiple flows of income come. How good are you? And by the way, is good where you want to stop? Okay, you go to the restaurant and they got good steak and they got some sick steak that's great. Which one you buying? Well, if you're on a budget, you buying good steak. Okay, you know if which one you want to get, man. I want to be able to get the great one and not worry about it. In fact, I'd like to be able to buy great for everybody at the restaurant and walk out and say, "Hey, you guys have a great day."
That's huge. And that's just a perspective flip for people. So for those 5%, Grant, right now, the young hustlers that don't party, they're grinding Friday, Saturday nights. They maybe already made their first 6 figures at 18. That 10X, can you kind of create a tangible action step for them? Is it just work harder, make more calls? Is it reach out to higher level people? How can that person from right now really elevate their game at an extreme level?
You broke up kind of hard right there in that, but I think you're saying you're making 6 digits.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You're freezing up a little bit. We're losing. This technology is still not perfect, but it's better than what we used to do, right?
Yeah.
So what I would tell that guy is, look, man, you got to get around some hitters now. Okay, you cannot. A guy told me recently, he's like, I got the same friends that I had when I was a kid. I'm like, do you bragging or complaining? And he's like, no, these are good friends of mine. Bro, you know what? I know all those people I grew up with. They're still friends of mine. I hit them on Facebook every once in a while. I say to them, I'll go to a reunion but bro, those aren't the people that are going to take you to the next level. You can't, if you're in a sailboat, you don't use yesterday wins to get to wherever you're going tomorrow. You need some new friends, new guidance, new ideas, new possibilities, new think. You got to get yourself around new players. You can't, every time you hear any of these big hitters, way bigger than me, right? They all say the same thing. I got great people around me. They don't say, yeah, man, little Mikey, I grew up with little Mikey, and me and Mikey used to pick on the little girl around the corner, and we still buddies. I think the only person that claims that is LeBron James, and he's pulling it off. His whole entourage is from his neighborhood. But let's see if it lasts forever. I'll bet you one day LeBron reaches to another category. In fact, I bet you LeBron goes to Warren Buffett for his financial advice, not somebody he grew up with in school.
You know what's crazy? I just saw a picture of him, Grant, with Carlos Slim a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, there you go.
So you're right on that as well. And I love that too, where a lot of people, it's a belief, it's a parents instilled that, no, you got to have a lot of childhood friends. You got to stay with the people you met in high school and college. So there's a lot of myths and a lot of
there's so many
instilled in these kids.
Oh my God. So many things people are hanging on to, like how many people say they won't, I was offering a job position down here in Miami. He's got, oh my God, man, if you were in Michigan, I'd come work for you right away. Like, Michigan.
Yeah.
Girls and my wife. The fact that you're not willing to leave Michigan, pick your 2 kids up out of school, they're 6 and 8. The fact that you want to use your kids as an excuse not to move your ass 2,000 miles for an opportunity just tells me you could never work here.
Interesting. So you really, when you're looking for somebody,
I'll go anywhere. Okay.
You look for someone that's just an all-out attitude. And you talk about being obsessed a lot, Grant, too. Becoming obsessed with what you want. Can you expand on just becoming obsessed with wealth? And if these millennials really want to become wealthy like they talk about, and even the people that are creating small wealth at a young age, becoming obsessed, I think, is going all out, working morning and night, surrounding yourself with people, going to masterminds, joining programs, but narrowing it in on things that actually produce results, correct?
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, I think the issue there is if obsessed is a bad word to you, you're not going to do it unless it's on the weekends.
Yeah.
But this is not a disease. It's not something to be labeled. Every great person that has walked this planet, done great things, has been labeled in the beginning has been labeled by their haters, their resistors, to the people that envied them, was labeled obsessed, compulsive, overdoer, overachiever, work addict. Don't be a work addict. No, man, be a loaf addict. You know, see what happens is the great people are all categorized, labeled, until one day everybody says, oh, man. Well, let me tell you, every person that's done something great was obsessed with their greatness, was obsessed with the possibilities, was obsessed with their potential, and their obsession is what got them to finally be reckoned great.
And I think people need to come to grasp with that. And you talk about, too, I watched you on the Jamie Tardy, about just get out there, be everywhere, and then you're going to get criticized, and then you're going to become great after you get criticized once you get out there everywhere, because most people don't know about you. So can you talk about criticism and why that's a good thing? Why is criticism a good thing?
Yeah, because criticism is an indication that something has changed now in almost your molecular structure, that people are like, you know, if you've ever had somebody say, don't change, or you're ever going to a workshop or something and you're dating some girl and she's not going, or dating a guy and he's not going. And the big fear is that you're going to come back different, because people don't actually want you to change. Don't change, man. So what I'm telling people is, look, man, you got to get enough attention. First of all, the first problem to any entrepreneur, any business owner, or any salesperson, any hustler is attention. You could be a hustler, but if you're not getting anybody's attention, you're never going to get their money. So you'll be the guy that hustles. Yeah, many doors today. Yeah, I called on this many people today. Yeah, but dude, nobody saw you. If nobody sees you, nobody knows you, nobody pays you. So the first thing you got to do is get attention. You got to get a lot of attention. When you start getting a lot of attention, the right amount of attention will always, always, always result in criticism. Mom, dad, brother, sister, somebody ain't gonna like the rubber band getting stretched. Somebody is gonna say, hey man, you shouldn't eat Oreos doing today, whatever, you know? So somebody's gonna criticize you. What you need to do is keep doing what you're doing until those people actually start really getting jacked up about it. Because that's called a hater. Haters promote you. Haters, I tweeted something. I'm at Grant Cardone on Twitter, and I tweeted something last night, and this lady tweeted me back. And the next thing she tweeted me again and says, my God, I tweeted your name. I had so many people hit me so fast, some of which was negative. I'm like, yeah, that makes me interesting. See, haters are not something you don't want. They're something you need to get to the next level. You need haters. You got to have them because they push and promote and make you and your business more interesting.
And then after haters, what comes next?
Admiration, baby.
There we go.
Admiration. Look, if I could get half of the United States of America to hate my guts,
you're president.
I could be the president.
There we go. That's funny, man. I want to, on the topic of just what we've been talking about as far as the youth and the messed up beliefs, I want to read some stats to you, and you just tell me your thoughts on these. Forbes says 70% of people right now hate what they're doing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I lost you. You froze completely, bro.
Okay. How do I look frozen?
Oh, you look good, man. You know what? It might be the movement. It might be the movement. If you don't move, it might. I think the camera's trying to figure out where you are.
Got it. I'm too quick. All right. So I want to read some stats to you, and I want you to tell me your thoughts. Forbes says 70% of Americans can't stand what they do. I missed that again. Sorry. 70% of Americans can't stand what they do and are disengaged, and America right now ranks number one in depression and mental health problems. And also the average tuition is higher than it's ever been, but the average income a student makes at the end of graduation is at an all-time low, and right now 60% of students can't find work. Now, I talked to Gary Vaynerchuk about this, and to be honest, he said the world just lacks hustle. You talk about hustle too. What do those stats mean to you, and how can we fix this stuff?
Well, Gary's wrong on that. Okay, the world does not lack hustle. Okay, Gary absolutely wrong on that, and I love Gary, but you'll never find a 2-year-old that doesn't have hustle. 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old. You know what happens as they age? They get socialized and miseducated with myth. Okay, and then prescribe drugs and label with problems. Okay, we are the most overprescribed. There were 200 million pain medications delivered last quarter to 311 million people. Those are pain medications. That's not all the psychotropic antidepressants. I'm just talking about pain, dude. Just pain. Now, we are overprescribed. And this is something I'm really passionate about, because it's really two groups of people that are getting penalized with these overprescriptions: the aging population and the youth. The youth is getting freaking killed with your depressant, your ADD. OCAD, your ADD, ADHD. I said, dude, that's all bullshit. There is not one shred of proof about any of that stuff. I don't care what you think. It's like you said, man, I had a cup of coffee before this. I was already hyped up. I'm like, dude, you're going to be all right. There's no way coffee can change the decision for you to deliver at what rate. I don't have ADD. I had a guy in my office tell me, you got ADD. I said, dude, I ain't got ADD. I ain't got any attention for you. The reason I got attention on 16 other things right now, and you're not one of them, is because your freaking presentation sucks. So when anybody tells you got some kind of ADD, ADHD, prove it to me. Show me what I got, dog. These ain't diseases. It's a gift, bitch. Okay? I'm doing great. I got the hustle on, bro. And so when Gary says we lack hustle, no. People are being being encouraged and educated to be lazy. People are being paid to be lazy today. People are being authorized to be lazy. When you start labeling things like work addiction, how the hell is work an addiction? That is just freaking ridiculous, dude. Work is one of the most spiritually connected, most positive things a human being can do. But therapists, and the psychological, the psychiatric community, they get paid $200 an hour to tell people like me and you that we got a problem. Yeah. And it's not a problem, dude. They get paid to medicate people and confuse people. I don't have a problem. I don't have a disease. I'm obsessed. I admit it. I want to be successful for myself, my family, and my community. In fact, I demand success as my duty and my obligation. I don't have a disease, dude. I have a right. I have a responsibility, not a disease. And that is what's causing the lack of hustle in people today.
That's great, man. And the pharmaceutical companies are making billions. So
they're doing well. They don't make billions. They spend billions just to advertise their products. Yeah. They're making trillions.
Yeah. Wow, man. And I've had a couple game changers a part of my program, and a lot of people I posted if you had questions for Grant. A lot of them asked income streams. How many separate streams of income do you generate, and how do you know when to delegate operations of one business versus taking it on yourself? Like, how do you prioritize your attention? I think that's a really good question that people have these days, of how do you kind of delegate and prioritize your businesses? Because you have more than one.
Yeah, I don't think too much about delegation. I think in terms of our prioritizing things. Look, I know what my overall mission is. And if you know what your overall mission is and really clear about what it is, then you are going to know which activities and which projects to delegate and which ones to prioritize. All right. So at my house, me and my wife know exactly what we're doing. Even the 4-year-old and the 2-year-old have been clued into the game. So, don't think that a 2-year-old doesn't understand what the hell we're doing. They know what candy is. They know what a croissant is. At 2 years old, baby, you want the bagel or you want the croissant? 2 years old, croissant. I want the croissant. Well, you know what she could also know? She's also being educated about what $1 billion will do for her. She's also being educated about, hey, we want to get to this many apartments. So just because somebody's 2 years old doesn't mean they don't know. I need to get the whole family, everybody pushing. And my family might be extended beyond just my kids and my wife, but to my group. So everybody's thinking the same thing. Everybody's going the same way. We don't get everything done every day. There's many days where I don't get nearly, I don't know. I'm looking at Paulie right now. I'm like, how many projects do we have that have been sitting there for months and months unfinished? You know, a bunch, a lot. Sometimes they get to be more and more all the time. And when they become a priority, when they become important enough to change the game here, game changer, then I'll get them done. So I don't think there's any order to this. I don't think there's some science. Look, go get the big bone first. The big bone with the biggest freaking meat, got the most freaking juice in it. Get that one, bring it, bury it in the backyard, and then go get you another one, dog.
That's extremely important to realize, because a lot of people see someone like you who's making the millions like, oh, he probably has everything perfectly delegated, systems and all these people. So it's pretty crazy.
Systems. I ain't got no systems here, dog. You know what the system is? The system is 10X. The system is go crazy. There's no CRM. There's no piece of software. There is nothing you can automate or robot that is going to replace passion, excitement, you know, being willing to be there at the helm, being willing to get tired. This is what your generation just can get encouraged about, and we'll shut it off here in a second. But just, man, look, everybody has the ability. There is no trick to the game except knowing what you want and being relentless, dude, no matter what, friends, family, whatever. You might have to leave some people behind you, bro. They'll come get you later when you get famous. Shit, they'll all come get you. They'll hate you for about 10 years and then later say, oh, I always knew you were going to be successful. Yeah, you were the kid punching me out in high school. Okay, right? Yeah, now they want to come hang out with me in Miami Beach.
I love it, man. And I am very excited to get this out because I think it's going to create some amazing conversation and controversy and just different types of people talking about the things we talked about. And I think it'll spark some people, man. I think it'll spark the next generation to really get out there and start grinding.
Beautiful. And you know what I'd like to do for all of you, the people that follow you and your show, and I appreciate what you do. If they go, I'm going to set up a link, grantcardonesuccess.com.
Okay.
If they put in their first name, last name, and their email,
Grant, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm gonna.
Did I freeze it up?
Yeah, go ahead again. I wanted to. Yeah, go ahead and share. You set it up for our group. I appreciate that. So it's grantcardonesuccess.com.
Yeah, go to grantcardonesuccess.com. All we need is your first name, last name, and you get you set up on a weekly strategy so you can blow your business up 10 times.
And then Young Hustlers, you're all over YouTube, right? Just should they subscribe to Young Hustlers or just your channel?
Yeah, no, just go to my YouTube channel, YouTube Grant Cardone, and you'll see there's 1,200 videos there, dude. If you're ever feeling down and out, you're ever a little lost, if the psychiatrist ever says you're obsessive compulsive, you got ADD, come see Dr. G. Come see Dr. G because I'll straighten your shit out quick.
I love it, man. Well, hey, Grant, it was an honor, and I wanted to let you know I have massive respect for what you do, man, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you more and building a relationship. And really, I love the legacy you've created. So I want to thank you again for your time. And I know your schedule is packed and crazy. So appreciate anything I could do to help you add value. Let's get this interview out there. Let's go change the game, my friend.
You got it, Peter. Thank you so much for your time, buddy.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Be great.
All right, see you.